Today we shall start some aspects of gymnosperm. The gymnosperms are plant with naked seeds and hence they are named gymnosperms. Gymno means naked, sperma means seed. The plants of gymnosperms are generally long, tall, and they are divided into root, stem, and leaves. So, they are generally tall in appearance. The root of the gymnosperm is mostly of taproot type of system. Sometimes coralloid root systems are found in some of the gymnosperm, as for example cycas, in which some cyanophycean algae are found symbiotic. This shows the symbiosis, and the trunk is long and stout, and the crown of leaves are found on the upper side of the stem. These leaves are generally compound leaves, pinnately compound leaves, and in some cases they are needle-like, and at the top there are cone-like structures. These cones are known as strobili. Here on the cone, the microsporophylls and megasporophylls are born. If they are born in the cone then the sporophyll is called the microsporophyll. If the male sex organ is present on the cone in the microsporophyll, so the microsporophyll aggregate to form cone. Likewise, in the female strobili, megasporophylls are found, and on these megasporophylls the naked ovules are born, and hence the cone is regarded as the megasporophyll, the female cone. And the stem, internal structure of the stem shows mostly the sclerenchymatous tissues, and in the internal structures the phloem and xylem are found. The xylem have no vessels, and the phloem has no companion cell. So this is the character of the gymnosperm. It is different from the angiosperms, in which the vessels are found in the xylem and companion cell is found in the phloem. In the Netum, one of the genus of gymnosperm, vessels are found, and hence Netum is known as the forerunner of angiosperms. So this is the internal structure of the stems. The vascular bundle in the xylem structure are generally mesarc in nature. They can't be exarch. Sometimes they are endarc. Means if the metaxylem is found towards the pericycle and protoxylem is found towards the center, this condition is known as endarc. And when metaxylem is found at the center and the protoxylem is found towards the pericycle. This is known as the exarch condition. But here in the gymnosperms, mostly the mesarch xylems are found, means all type of xylems, protoxylem and metaxylems are, there is no difference between their size. And in the microspores are born in the microsporangium situated on the microsporophyll and on the male cone, while the megaspores are born, or ovules are born on the megasporophylls. Here in the ovule there is only one integument, while in the angiosperms there are two integuments. As for example, when we see the ovule of the cycas, the integument has three layers: the outer fleshy, inner fleshy, and the middle integument is stony in nature. And the microspores are born in the microsporangium, and when they mature, they come out and spread by the wind, and hence the pollination is the wind pollination or the anemophilous. Hence, in the gymnosperm, the pollination is generally anemophilous, and they come in the on the surface of the ovule, and the ovule is generally orthotropous, and there is a pore through which a drop of liquid comes out, and the microspores get attached with the liquid, and afterward comes inside, and in the ovule there is a pollen chamber in which they take rest for some times, and afterward they germinate, and the microspores generally forms two antherozoids multiciliated in the lower gymnosperms, as for example ginkgoales and cycadales. In them the antherozoids are multiciliated, and in the higher forms the antherozoids are not ciliated. So this is the character that shows resemblance with the pteridophyta with the cycadales. And afterward, afterward fertilization, the zygote develops, and here there is a cleavage in the zygote, the embryo, and that cleavage is meroblastic type of cleavage, and here due to cleavage in most forms of gymnosperm polyembryony is found, means one embryo cleaved and the part again develops into embryos, and hence polyembryo is reported here. So this is the general character of the gymnosperms. In the gymnosperm, the prothelial cells, that is the character of the pteridophytes, are also found in some forms that are not advanced, as for example, the prothelial cell are found in coniferals and ginkgoels, and they are two in number, while in the cycadales there is one prothelial cell. Here, in the higher forms, that the megasporophylls and the microsporophylls are actually the pre-form of a flower. In them, the perianth does not distinguish between the calyx and corolla, but in the angiosperms, that is the developed form, advanced form than the gymnosperm, here in the angiosperm, perianth are distinguished between calyx and corolla. Most of the flowers of the angiosperms are generally contains calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So this is the chief character of the gymnosperms. The gymnosperms are classified by various workers, as for example, Engler in 1885 had classified gymnosperms in 7 orders as cycadophyllicales, cycadales, benititales, chorditales, ginkgoels, coniferales, and nitales, while Rajada and Sahni in 1959 classified gymnosperm into Cycadophyta, Pentogylales, Coniferophyta, etc. Now, the other group of the planta, that is the most advanced, is the angiosperm. Here also the plant body is divided into root, stem and leaves. The root is either tap root or the fibrous root, and the long portion is called as the trunk, and they have branches, and on the branches there are leaves and the flowers. Here the internal structure of the xylem. In the xylem, vessels are found. In the phloem, companion cells are found. That is the difference of the angiosperm from the pteridophyta and the gymnosperm. In the leaf, there is either reticulate venation or the parallel venation. Reticulate venation is found in the dicotyledons, and the parallel venations are found in the monocotyledons. Monocotyledons are considered as the most advanced angiosperms. That there is much difference between the dicotyledons and the monocotyledons. The dicotyledons have 2 cotyledons in their seed, while the monocotyledons have only 1 cotyledon in the seed. There are other differences, as for example, the dicotyledons has taproot system, while the monocotyledons have fibrous root system. And the internal structure of the stem and roots vary between the dicotyledons and the monocotyledons. Monocotyledons do not show secondary growth either in the stem or in the root. The secondary growth is found in gymnosperm, but here in the angiosperms, the secondary growth only takes place in the dicotyledons in the root or the stem, but not in the monocotyledons. In the internal structure of a stem, the monocotyledons and dicotyledons have difference. The hypodermis of a stem in the dicotyledons has a collenchymatous tissue ring, whereas in the monocotyledons it is of a sclerenchymatous in nature. In the cortex, there is the parenchymatous strips of few cells and few strips of parenchymatous cells, whereas in the monocot stem, the entire cortex is of the parenchymatous cell. Here in the dicotyledons, that there is demarcation of endodermis pericycle, and here in the dicotyledons there is no such, generally there is no such demarcation. The whole vascular bundles are scattered in the cortex, and the endodermis in dicotyledons is wavy in nature. Here it is no such demarcation, and there are also vascular bundles in the monocotyledons are many in numbers, whereas the number is restricted in the dicotyledons. As well as in the structure of root, there is variation. In the structure of root, there is the difference in it. Here there is a in the xylem, and in the structure of vascular bundles there is difference. Here phloem parenchyma is not found in the monocotyledons, where parenchyma is found here. In the pericycle, from pericycle lateral roots come out. The pericycle in the dicotyledons give rise to cambium and cork cambium, whereas in the monocotyledons only lateral roots are produced, xylem, and there is no parenchymatous tissue in the medullary rays, and here in the dicotyledons there are parenchymatous tissue in the medullary rays. So these are the chief difference between the monocot and dicot. Now in the flower in the flower, different from the gymnosperm, the flower has the outer ring of calyx, and in some cases there is an extra ring that is known as the epicalyx, as for example China rose, and the calyx ring, the one individual of the calyx is known as the sepal, and then the petal, they are mostly colored, and in the next ring is of androecium, and then the next is gynoecium, that is divided into ovary, style and stigma. In the ovary there are ovules which gave rise to a fruit after maturation. So this is the most of the angiospermic flowers are entomophilous, means they are pollinated by insects. In some cases they are pollinated by the wind, as for example monocotyledons. Here the ovule is inside the ovary, and so the seed is produced inside the ovary within the fruit, and the integument here is 2 in number, while in the gymnosperm it has only one integument. So this is the difference, chief difference between the gymnosperm and the angiosperms. The prothelial, the gametophytic generation in the angiosperm is highly reduced. It is only represented by male gametophyte and female gametophyte. That is very short time, that is of the very short time period, and hence the sporophytic generation is well developed and it is dominant, and the entire life cycle, the mostly time, the most of the time is spent in form of sporophyte. Only representative of gametophyte is the male gametophyte and the female gametophyte. Here also, that is not found in the gymnosperm. Here there is the triple fusion, means the male gametophyte, when develops two cells are produced. One male nucleus are produced. One nucleus get fused with the egg cell and the other with the secondary nucleus of that is of the female gametophyte. In an orthotropous ovule, there is a egg cell and the synergid in the lower side, and in the middle there are two secondary nucleus, and on the upward there is a three antipodal cells. So the out of the two male nuclei, one fused with the egg and the second fused with the secondary nucleus. So the two secondary nucleus has haploid set of chromosome, means 2n in number, and one male gamete get fused with it, and here 3n structure is formed, and this structure is known as the endosperm. So there is a structure in the angiosperm that is the 3n type. It is called as endosperm, that gives the nourishment to the developing embryo, and this is the nourishing tissue actually that gives nourishment to the developing embryo. So here triple fusion is found. One of the chief character of the main character of angiosperm is the double fertilization, and this phenomena is known as the double fertilization. Now many of the botanists have classified angiosperms also. Here there are many attempts, natural classification and artificial classification, and then came the phylogenetic type of classification. Here there are three types of classification as Engler, Prandtl, Bentham and Hooker, and the Hutchinson. In these three, there are two classifications most important, that is by Bentham and Hooker, who classified angiosperm in 1862 and 1883. The phanerogams or seed-bearing plants were divided into the dicotyledons, gymnosperms, and monocotyledons. Here, the monocotyledons are divided into polypetally, dicotyledons were divided into polypetally, gamopetally, and monoclamidae. Next, the polypetally are divided into Thalmiphory, Disciphory, Calciphory in 3 series. And the Gamopetalae are divided into infra, heteromere, bicarpellity, and the monoclamidae in 8 series. And likewise, the monocotyledons were divided into 7 series. Unfortunately, Bentham and Hooker put monocotyledons between dicotyledons and monocotyledons. That is unfortunate. He was unfortunate. Gymnosperms are the primitive plants than angiosperms. But here, unfortunately, he kept dicotyledons, and in between the dicotyledons and monocotyledons, he placed gymnosperm. Then came the most important classification, that is known as Hutchinson system of classification. And here, the angiosperms are divided into 2 subphylums, that is the dicotyledons and monocotyledons. Here, in the dicotyledons, Hutchinson assumed 2 different groups. One is the Herbaceae and other is the Lignosa. Lignosa containing angiosperms have woody stems, while the Herbaceae, they are herbaceous in nature. And he divided into dicotyledons into 2 divisions. First, Lignosa, and second, Herbaceae. And Lignosa starts from family Magnoliaceae and ends in Verbinaceae, whereas the Herbaceae starts from Ranunculaceae and ends with Laminaceae. Likewise, monocotyledons are divided into Calciflory, Corallifery, and Glummifery. And this is the outer classification of Hutchinson. Next came to the Dahlgren system of classification, which is the recently given classification by Dahlgren in 1975. He put entire angiosperms as Maglaniopsida and into 2 classes, Magloniidae and Liliidae. And he put dicotyledons in Magloniidae with 25 superorders, whereas he put monocotyledons with 8 superorder in Liliidae. So this is the outline classification of the angiosperms, and hence now we have completed the brief introduction of angiosperms. Here one thing left. Monocotyledons are considered as the advanced group than the dicotyledons by the phylogenetists. One thing is to remember that monocotyledons are considered as the advanced form of angiosperms than the dicotyledons. Next we will come and we will just have some brief knowledge of animal kingdom. We do not have any concern with the animal kingdom, but just for knowledge, brief knowledge, we will be acquainted. We will know how animal kingdoms is divided, and we have some brief knowledge. Thank you very much.